Back with the Ron and Fez show. A reminder, the fastest comedian in the world, Crazy Jen, she's going to be at Wiseacres tonight. Starting at 8 o'clock. You still got time to get there at the Best Western in Tyson's Corner. Free show at 8 o'clock.
It's a free show, and Crazy Jen will be one of many comedians tonight. Tyson's Corner at Wiseacres. That's in the Best Western. All right, it's 866-277-4969. We're talking about some of the latest atrocities coming out of Iraq. Some on our side with our own prison guards and MPs, Fezzi, and that horrible, horrible video that's on the web right now. I'm going to tell you right now, the thing, too, that just you always have to take into account of, some people saying, we're even causing more terrorists by this act. There is nothing as twisted in the entire world as a young man. And I don't care where they are from, whether they're from a Muslim background or any background at all. A lot of the atrocities that took place in Africa were all 14, 15-year-old kids. The Khmer Rouge were like the Lost Boys. So many of the real soldiers in that were 13, 14 years old. The gang stuff that we have going on in this country, most of the time it's really, really young kids. So it is a scary situation, and one that we've got to get some kind of a hold over. Here's Anthony. Anthony, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey.
All right. I just say drop the A-bomb on them. Let's forget about it. My whole theory is, if we're going to go over there, let's go over there, kick butt, bring them back. I don't see the point in staying over there till kingdom come.
So you would blow up the entire country of Iraq?
I would blow up the entire country. Look, I mean, let's just look at the facts.
Would you leave it at Iraq, or would the other Muslims scare you as well?
Let's take them all out.
Take them all out.
The guys, they burn American flags. You see, whenever something goes down, they have kids in the street dancing and hollering, women, children, they don't care.
If someone burns an American flag, we ought to drop a bomb on them.
We ought to drop a bomb on them.
All right. And if we catch people dancing and singing in the street, we got to drop a bomb on them.
That goes for this country, too. All
right. And that takes me back to my other point about young men being just as crazy as all hell. All right. 866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. Here is Red. Red, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, buddy.
I just wanted to know why our country was we were so upset about the video that came out whenever we were supposedly torturing their people and they're beheading us.
What's your point, Red?
I don't understand your point, Red.
Well, I mean, there for a while, everybody in the media and everybody was talking about how the video that came out of our troops supposedly torturing their people.
Right.
And all they were doing was, they were naked, they were standing on boxes, standing there with pictures, and they're beheading us. Why should we be upset about that?
So we should not be upset somebody was beheaded, or I don't understand.
No.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is we should totally be upset. I'm very serious.
Okay, so we should be upset by the video.
So you think nobody's upset about the beheading?
No, I think everybody is upset. I want to know why everybody was upset that our troops were supposedly torturing them.
Right. So
before this video came out. Why is that? Why? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're like the senator who's outraged by the outrage.
You could say that.
You don't want anybody. You want us to just torture them if we want to.
Well, I don't think that we should torture them if we want to, but I can understand why they were tortured. I mean, if I was over there away from my family, my friends,
right,
because of something they did to our country, of course you're going to be upset.
Hey, I agree with you 100%. I really, I can identify with some of the grunts over there. To me, it's an awful situation to find themselves in. A lot of these people who are going, the first people who are yelling that, we've got to lock up a lot of our soldiers, I'd like to look at them. And a lot of it is coming out of Congress. A lot of them are just appalled, and they're asking questions like, hey, how did any of these guys ever get to put on a military uniform? And I'm like, well, you're sitting in D.C. You know what I'm saying? You're not part of what's going on over there. It's just bizarre, though. Here's Juan. Juan, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you, buddy?
Fellas, thank you for getting me on. a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Okay.
First things first, the guy that just called was a moron. Dear God, please, send him over there.
Red?
Yeah. Why we're upset? We're upset because it's against human nature. It's not right what we did. There's no excuse for it. The beheading, deplorable, ghastly, god-awful. There's no excuse for that either. One evil doesn't justify another evil.
The only thing that I disagree with, I do not think it's against human nature. I think human nature is much more dark than we're even ready to tell ourselves.
I don't doubt that. What bothers me is the fact that we're supposed to be a society that looks down upon torture, that looks down upon the degradation and...
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We got to fight it.
But this is what... forgive me for putting it out like this, but the fact of the matter is, this isn't new. We've done this. We've done what appears in those pictures to the Iraqi citizens. Well, we did that in this country. It's in our own history, so why is it so surprising that we did it there?
The only surprising thing about it is that there's pictures. That's what freaks people out. And it's the same, and I hate to saying it, as the beheading video. Every day you hear about servicemen being killed, and no one takes this kind of bewilderment and it just blows you away on your human side because we're not seeing it. If you're not actually seeing that person being killed, you don't identify it like you do. All it's going to do is be on TV. And right now your computer's like having a television. So it's the same thing when you're watching that video on your computer. If you see it on TV, you start to feel it.
The people that, the folks in the country that didn't want the coffins being seen. The flag draped coffins.
Absolutely. They do not want to see any pictures at all. They don't want us to see any pictures at all. Here is Mark. Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, hey guys. Hey, you said that the young, 13-year-olds, are going to do crazy stuff. What I don't understand is each, their commanding officer all the way down should not be allowing these things to happen.
Are you saying on our side? Yeah.
Yeah, on our side, exactly, because, it should come from the top down. They say, look, here's the protocol, here's what you need to do with these, here's what you can and cannot do. And yet they let them just, run amok and do whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah, I completely agree. Something was getting very crazy. Something was getting very apocalypse now going on in that jail. And I honestly think we have to look at the whole thing.
With the pictures that were shown in Congress today that they got to see, one of the people testifying there for the Senate Armed Services Committee was saying, you see so many soldiers in some of these pictures.
Yeah.
It's not one or two privates that are just, going off on their own and doing this. You can see by the fact that there's that many people in the picture that there's disorder there, that there's no one in command.
Yeah, it just became a cluster F. Here's Jason. Jason, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, Ron and Fez. How you guys doing?
Yeah.
Hey, what I think they should do is maybe pull all the non-combatants out and then go in there and turn that thing into a glass parking lot, and then we'll rebuild from the ground up.
All right, so you're going to have us rebuild this country over nuclear waste.
Yeah, you're right.
And all these people that we have leave, where are they going to go?
There's now, what is it, 80% of the country is safe.
80% of the country is safe. So we're just going to have a small nuclear bomb in 20% of the country. No fallout.
No, not a nuclear.
Not a nuclear
bomb.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? You can pound that place, pull our troops out. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, give the non-combatants time. Hey, we'll help you get out. But if you're not up by this date, this is what's going to happen.
Well, I don't know where you were when this thing came down, but we pounded Baghdad pretty good for quite a while, and we still have this problem. You're not going to be able to shoot everybody with bombs, and then all your problems are going to go away.
We pounded Fallujah a week ago.
Here's Vic. Vic, you're on Ron and Fez.
Ron and Fez, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
I just think it's absolutely not necessary to torture those prisoners over there. One, because they say that these guys have done so much bad, so they deserve to be tortured. Why isn't anybody torturing torturing Timothy McVeigh, one. And two, we always want to bully up on somebody. Why don't we go over there and bully up on that dude over in North Korea who says he has weapons of mass destruction? I think that's what should happen. Since we want to go toe-to-toe with somebody, with somebody who say they got this stuff. I think we're just a bunch of cowards and a bunch of chumps that say things and do nothing about it.
All right, thank you very much, my friend.
Cool.
Here is Ivan. Ivan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys. Love your show.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it's very unfortunate for everyone, the situation in Iraq. And the only way of this mess is to support whatever government they want to have in their country. We can definitely provide training and probably money or, weapons or, I don't know, use a limited force in the country, but we cannot fight the war because it's not our war.
Well, they've picked a type of government that they want. That cleric al-Sadr in Fallujah, he wants an Islamic regime in there.
Well, he can't have that.
And see, we're not going to give them that. Even though that's what, some Iraqis are going to want.
But again, I think we're going to end up having Iraqi people ruling the country. We cannot have Americans without no experience, no language, no anything. I'm not saying we don't have people with experience, but we have to give the native people rule the country. And the only way from this mess is to stop fighting the war and just do the mission we went after, is to establish the democracy and give people a choice.
Well, what if the choice that they pick is, as Fez says, somebody that we do not want?
In this case, we can do nothing but admit the president was wrong and he had no backup plan. Because before you go to war, they have to actually think about what if the democracy is something they don't want.
Yeah, well, we're already past that point, Ivan. We're already past that point. Fez, you keep getting calls?
I got another call again, and from a number I do not recognize.
Give it to Cigar Sid, and he'll check it out. I would say Wonder Boy, but he will be rude. Sid, I want you to get to the bottom of this one. Here is, let's go to Kelly. Kelly, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you?
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good.
I was the one that called last, I don't know, it was several days ago about...
Oh, yeah, I remember we got a call several days ago, Fez.
From a Kelly?
Yeah.
Stop it. Well, what
you called last war, I remember.
Right. Well, no, what I was saying was that I didn't think the picture should go out, and you guys were like, no, that's not the way we do things. We let this stuff out in the open. But see, this stuff happened back in January. We're dealing with it. We're even violating these soldiers' rights to have a fair trial by already, putting all this stuff in the news. And
so your point is,
what I'm saying is that the guy that was the worst thing in the world. I mean, the guy getting beheaded, is 10 billion times worse than what we have seen and what is yet to be seen.
So far, we don't know.
And that guy, well, what I'm saying, no, we haven't done that to anybody.
We don't know that yet. We know that prisoners have died during our care.
Well, let me say one thing.
Yeah.
That guy, first thing on the news for one day. Okay, one day. Now we're back to the abuse of the prisoners. And
Kelly, your thing is, while we are giving a democracy to Iraq, supposedly, you want to stop our free press. That's your point.
No, I don't want to do that. But what I'm saying is that these people are looking for any excuse to say we're the worst people in the world, and we're gonna kill.
Honey, I want you to know the truth. It's probably because we're there is why this happened, more than any pictures that went out.
But Kelly, would you rather, let's say the photos never came out and the American public didn't know this was going on in that prison, and
we could say that it happened and that we've dealt with it. I don't know why we have to put the pictures out.
And if the Iraqis are saying, you know what, these Americans, they're torturers too. They're as bad as Saddam. You should see what's going on in that prison. Would anyone believe them? I wouldn't.
Well, I don't think you can believe anything Al Jazeera or anybody else says. But
well, you don't even believe anything that CNN says. You don't believe in the press.
Well, what I'm saying is that it was front page news for one day about this poor unfortunate guy from Philadelphia, and then it's bumped off.
Well, that's because there's no pictures. Pat Tillman no longer is Pat Tillman in the news. The news changes every day. You get new news every day.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that their atrocities are far worse than ours. And they're looking for any excuse it just puts our troops and our people that are over there in more jeopardy, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. My brother was over in Afghanistan for a while, and I just don't want any more chance of any excuse to kill an American.
Right.
To be out there.
But it would be better that we took care of things and did things above board and had the press watch us than if we covered things up and tried to keep it out of the press. Yeah, that's the whole reason that we're fighting. So that not only if the government does this to Iraqi, but if the government would do this to you, the press would be there.
But do you realize that they're also now that they're fabricating stuff that they've been doing that?
Who's that?
Al Jazeera, the Arab press, and everything else. They're making up stories of people being abused now. I mean, that's they're running with this. And
that's kind of hard to argue with 1,800 pictures to back it up.
Well, we've got plenty of atrocities, and there are horrible things, and we shouldn't have done it, and we're much better than that.
All right, thank you very much, honey.
I love it when Kelly calls.
Yeah, she only calls every once in a while. When she does, it's always exciting. Matt, you're on the air. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what up, guys?
Hey.
I just want, what happened to that guy who got beheaded? It was a sin. But the thing is, he had no business even being over there. That guy, he flew out to Jordan, he walked across the border, and all he wanted to do was to, get a head start on the emerging economy, and he was just out there trying to fill his own pockets.
This was the worst idea in history. I cannot think of a worse idea than being the guy who brings cable to Baghdad.
Exactly. And, these troops have so much they need to worry about.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about every single Joe who wants to make a buck and go over there.
Thank you very much, my friend. Here's another Matt. Welcome, Matt. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ron and Fez. How you doing?
Hey, buddy.
I just wanted to say from the Kelly, which was a very special call, it's just we have to run with the times. This is a televised war. Video, news, pictures, they're all going to come out, and it's just unfortunate that those make so much more of an impact.
You know what? And it's just not televised anymore. This is an internet war. This beheading was not on TV. It was on the internet, and so many people have already seen it going out, finding it themselves.
And this thing started this way with network embeds that were going to show us every inch across the desert.
Yeah.
And I certainly think that it's unfortunate that this impacts us so much that we almost forget about all the other soldiers who have died probably very gruesome deaths.
Absolutely.
Out there. And
absolutely. 100%. And the interesting thing is, people do not identify with it for whatever reason unless they see it on television. That makes them grasp onto it. I don't know whether it's because we grew up watching television. I don't know whether maybe our imaginations are so bad that if we read it, we don't understand it, or whether we don't read and we actually have to see pictures for us to understand what's going on. Mike, you're on the Ron and Fez show, buddy.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Listen, I just wanted to say two things real quick. The first thing is the way the military operates a lot of times is the fact that they will find a scapegoat and they'll pin it on whoever that is. I would be willing to bet you that nobody above the rank of lieutenant is going to get prosecuted or court-martialed because that's how they do it. And, take the My Lai massacre in Vietnam.
Yeah.
You want to tell me that lieutenant was the highest up those orders came from? Come on.
Yeah, that was a complete cluster F.
Yeah, so the only other thing I was going to say, guys, is that when they do stuff, I mean, bad things happen in war, and I'm not, believe me, I'm not excusing what we are supposed to have allegedly done to these people and the prisoners and all that. But they think by cutting an American's head off on camera, they think that it's going to so upset us that we're going to want to pull out even more. But what they really don't realize is that they're doing nothing but pissing us off more. We're going to stay. If they want us to stay in Iraq, keep cutting people's heads off.
All right, thank you, Teddy Roosevelt. I'm going to tell you the truth. I do not think that these sick bastards that cut off this kid's head get the big PR picture of it. I think it's just a wilding. Basically the same thing that happens anytime you get crazy young guys together with guns or knives, the S hits the fan. It's that simple.
And the amazing thing is this is the type of people, the insurgents, that we were going to help. I mean, we got Saddam, we got Uday and Kuzey, we got everybody in the deck of cards, we got rid of the Republican Guard. These were the people that we were going to win over.
Yeah, and I don't know why that they that does not make sense to the people running our country, is that you told us by this point the people in Iraq were going to be excited to have us there. They would be going crazy. It was going to look like when we went into Italy after World War II. You know, oh, boy, the locals really love you.
Right in convertibles.
The girls want to date you. Everybody loves chocolate. Everybody wants to hear about Babe Ruth. It's not happening.
This is the second war there. We beat everybody we went in, the Baghdad regime, the Ba'ath Party, and Saddam. This is the second army we're facing in this place.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back in a few moments. 866-277-4969. It's the Ron and Fez Show.